clarinet players, Miss Shaw here. In this video, I'm showing you how to clean your clarinet. The only part of your clarinet that will ever be touched by water is your mouthpiece. You can take your mouthpiece, put this part under the water faucet, and let warm water run through it. I will take my ligature off. Now notice I always loosen the screws, pull it up, take the reed off. You can use dish detergent or soap, and you can let it run through. Your reed, we don't do this a lot, but you can actually clean it off with soap and water. Ligature we don't do anything with. Now, the mouthpiece does get wet inside because we blow through it. So after you clean it, if you had a school instrument, I put a little swab inside the case. Those of you who are renting instruments, I would advise you to get a clarinet swab. There are all different kinds of swabs. I use what's called a handkerchief swab. It's a long piece of cloth with a long string, and there's a tiny little weight at this end. Now, what I put in the school instrument cases is much, much smaller. It's like this big, but I do that to be very cautious so it doesn't get stuck inside the clarinet. So with the mouthpiece, we always go to the bigger end. So I could go to the back of the mouthpiece, pull the swab through, and that's it. And if you feel that it doesn't go through all the way, mine will, but you can just pull it out the opposite way. Okay. Now, this part of your clarinet, the barrel, will also get wet. I just put my finger inside of the cloth and clean it out like that. In the winter time, your clarinet may get more wet than in the summertime. What we do is we turn the clarinet upside down. We go to the biggest opening, which is the bell. So I turn my clarinet upside down. I make sure there are no knots in this string. I let the weight pull it down. Now it's a very tiny weight, but it's enough to pull the string down. Do not shove it in. Make sure nothing is knotted up or bunched up. And then I pull it through. Notice I pull it once, then I move my hand up. I pull it again. Now, if your swab for any reason gets stuck inside the clarinet, which sometimes happens, please don't panic. What you can do is safely take your clarinet apart. Now remember, I always push down the double bubble key, which is in between these two holes. We call this the double bubble key. It lifts up this bridge right here. It puts it in a high position, and then I very carefully turn it tiny bit, and notice now I can pull my swab out. Okay? That is how we clean our clarinet. Water should never go on this part of the clarinet at all. We don't have to do this every single time, but in the winter time, just like when you get fog on a window, we will get what we call condensation inside of our clarinet. We are blowing warm, wet air through this instrument, and then it turns into what kind of like a cloud inside your clarinet, and which then turns into rain. So there will be wetness. Sometimes, not too often, you might feel it coming down through your bell. That doesn't really happen very often, but you will notice it in your mouthpiece. Of course, we don't want to eat and then play without brushing your teeth. I always brush my teeth before I blow into any instrument, because you don't want all kinds of food particles to get caught inside here. So I do advise cleaning your mouthpiece pretty often. You can use 70% rubbing alcohol if you want to clean the mouthpiece. When I sterilize the instruments, I have a little spray bottle of 70% rubbing alcohol. All right, that should do it.